everybody, this is Ronnetta, and I'm taking you along with me because my story has taken a turn. Here I am trying to help all of you with your iron needs, trying to help you keep your iron in balance, and I myself am headed to day 1 of 4 days of iron infusions. I know before I had my first iron infusion, I was pretty terrified, and in looking on the internet, I couldn't find anything that wasn't really clinical. I wanted some kind of girl-to-girl information of what to expect. So I'm going to try to do that for you over the next 4 days. As I said, I'm headed to day 1. It will be the longest day because they run a test dose for about an hour of the iron infusion to make sure that you're not going to have some type of reaction, which can be really scary. Thankfully, I've never had any reactions. I've been very fortunate, and I think those reactions are very rare, but they do happen, so they have to run a test dose. So this will be a long day, probably about 6 hours. So I'll check back in with you in a bit, but come along for the ride. So I'm making a quick stop at the drive-thru because it's a good idea to eat something before the iron infusions. I know one time I did not eat and became very nauseous during the infusion. So I'm going to grab a biscuit and a Diet Coke, a big Diet Coke, because as I said, I'm going to be here for a while. And I have some bottles of water and some granola bars and some healthy stuff in my bag for a snack. But I'm going to grab a bite to eat, and then we're heading to the hospital. So we have to run a test dose, right? Is that what you were talking about? Oh, we don't, because I've had it before.
Well, no, Venifer, we don't do a test dose. It's only the Infed that a test dose is done.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought we did a test dose last year when I had the Venifer.
That's such a big vein that I can fall right over that thing.
You're very excited about my vein.
I have to apologize now.
Makes your job easier, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
So, I'm back. I did not do much videotaping in the infusion lab because, well, really because of privacy. There were a lot of patients there today, many of whom were having chemotherapy. And, you know, you notice when you're there that a community kind of forms in these infusion labs because the patients are there so often and they get to know each other, and I really didn't want to upset that balance. So in my next 3 days, if I have a chance to do some videotaping in the lab and not bother anyone, then I will certainly do that. But I just wanted to share some of the things that I take with me when I have an iron infusion. I packed a tote bag today, and in that tote bag I put, number one, a blanket, actually my Snuggie, my pink Snuggie is what I took with me. That was a gift at Christmas. It's wonderful to cover up with. They have blankets and pillows typically in the infusion lab to make you comfortable, and the nurses are so kind and so helpful. But I did take my Snuggie, and I took another small throw with me because you do get chilly in the infusion lab, and something about the iron infusion itself makes you feel chilly, I think. So that definitely helps. I had my phone, of course, and my iPad and my earbuds, and pretty much listened to music, caught up on emails, and did some work in the 4 hours that I was there today. It turned out that I wasn't there as long as I had anticipated, which was great. They did not have to do a test dose of the Venifer, which is the iron supplement that I received today. I thought that they had to do a test dose, but apparently the protocol has changed, and they didn't have to do that, so that shortened the whole process. So, again, let's see, I had some water, I had some snacks with me. When they ask you which hand you want the IV in, definitely go with your non-writing hand. You will be glad that you did that, because I'm having my infusions on a Thursday and a Friday, and then I have the weekend off, and I'll be back in on Monday and Tuesday. Well, through the weekend, I have to live with, I don't know if you can see this, my sweater's covering it, but the IV port, I guess you would call it, is still in my hand, and it's wrapped up with an ACE bandage. So that way they don't have to stick me every day, and it makes it so much easier for the nurses. I don't mind it, but it's kind of inconvenient. It's not very comfortable, and it kind of gives me the creeps, but it is what it is. And as I said, it makes it easier for the nurses not to have to insert the IV every day. So keep in mind, if you're doing your infusions over a period of a few days, you may be living with the big bandage. So you'll want to plan ahead for that and make sure you get it in the hand that you don't use a lot. So anyway, if I think of any other tips of things that you should take, I'll certainly add it on, but that ought to get you started. Have a great day. I just left my first iron infusion, and I'm starving. So I'm not having any side effects, no nausea, no headache. Actually, I feel great. I don't feel like I've had anything done this morning. So I'm going to grab a quick bite to eat with some friends, and I will check in with you later this afternoon and let you know how I'm feeling, to give you an idea of what it's like to go through these iron infusions. Well, it's about 6:30 in the evening on day one of my iron infusions, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm imagining it, but I feel pretty darn good. I know the iron can't make me feel better that quickly, so I'm not sure what it is, but I do actually feel somewhat better tonight. I am grilling some hamburgers for dinner. Got some lean ground beef. Kind of dark out here, so it's a little hard to see. I like to put a little lea and parents, garlic salt, and steak seasoning on the burgers. And this is going to be dinner. When my iron is super low, this is my favorite spot. My husband even jokes and calls me rotisserie, because I stand in front of the fire and I rotate, warm the front, turn, warm the back, and I do this for an extended period of time. It's about as crazy as my ice eating, which I always thought was just a bad habit, but it's a sign of anemia. It's called pica. It's eating ice or any non-food item. If you have a crazy habit like that, it could mean that you have anemia. But this is not the best lighting for video, but I want you guys to see me at the end of the day. I have not put any makeup on except some lipstick a few minutes ago. And I know it's bad lighting, as I said, but you can see how pale I am. I look like I'm 150 years old. And this is what anemia does to you. Without that oxygen in your blood and without that great blood flow, your skin gets very pale, dark circles. If you pull your eyelid down, the tissue inside is very pale or white. Your tongue can be pale. In my case, and I don't know if this is the case with anyone else who has anemia, but my tongue can get really sore. And the crazy thing is that I crave spicy foods. I haven't done it this time, but every other time that my iron has been low, I have craved salsa. I think it's called garden salsa sun chips, and I could eat a bag a day. So that's kind of a weird indicator for me to let me know. It's like one of my red flags that my iron is low. So anyway, I'm signing off. Day 2 of the iron infusions is tomorrow, and I'll check in with you then. Good morning. It's day 2 of iron infusions. I am feeling fantastic today. Last night I felt like a new person, and I have attributed that to the steroids that they gave me yesterday. Because as the night went on, I felt a little jumpy and had a little bit of trouble sleeping. Nothing that was too serious, but I definitely felt a boost yesterday, and I know it couldn't have been the iron that quickly, as much as we would like for it to happen that fast. I had my breakfast this morning. I have my big drink that I'm going to take in with me to sip on while I'm having the infusion. I took a Claritin this morning, and I took a Zantac. So that should speed up the process. If you don't take a Claritin before you come, and of course you have to ask your doctor if this is okay, but they love it at this infusion lab that I'm going to because it makes things easier for them. But they will give you Benadryl intravenously, and I'll talk about that another time, but that happened to me one time and it will never happen again. IV Benadryl was crazy. It was just a crazy experience. It was a one-day iron infusion, so I was there for 7 or 8 hours, and the whole time I felt like I was completely coming out of my skin. The Benadryl should put me to sleep, but it does the opposite. It just hypes me up, and it's a really, really bad experience. So I took a Claritin this morning. I took a Zantac. That way they won't have to give it to me intravenously. It shortens the whole process. It should take at least an hour off of the entire process. So the only other difficulty that I've had is that I had to put a big Ziploc bag on my arm this morning so that I could take a shower. That was kind of crazy. And you can't really wash your hair with one hand. So I'm hoping to get this needle out for the weekend. It's just a little inconvenient. And as I said yesterday, it kind of gives me the creeps. So I'm hoping to get rid of that. But I'm headed in just a minute for my second round of iron infusions, and hopefully everything will go well and I won't have any issues. And hopefully if you're considering doing this, you won't have any issues either. I'll see you guys later. So I just finished day 2 of the iron infusions, and it went very well. It was very fast today, 2 hours, and I'm back in the car and on the way home. I only had to have the steroid bag today and the Venifer, which is the iron, because I had taken my Zantac and Claritin ahead of time, so that made things go a little more smoothly. The only issues today, my arm started to ache toward the end of the infusion, and it still feels kind of sore right now. Could have something to do with the fact that it's really cold today, and the iron was probably cold going into my vein. Feeling just a little bit dizzy, slightly nauseous, but nothing major. So really nothing else to report. So unless something happens over the weekend, I will plan to see you on day 3. So it's Saturday. I had my second iron infusion yesterday, and I'm out and about. Just dropped my son off at swim practice, and I thought that I would check in and just bring you up to speed. Last night I did have a lot of gastrointestinal upset, if you will, and I have a bit of a tummy ache today. So I think that's to be expected with all of that iron going into your system and sitting in your stomach, and kidneys, liver, trying to process all of that influx of tons of iron, especially when you've been so low. So I think that you can probably expect to have a stomach ache at some point during the iron infusions. And that is listed, of course, as a possible side effect. Another possible side effect that's listed is pain at the site of the needle, the IV insertion point. And I mentioned that yesterday that my arm was hurting, and that continued on until last night, and then the pain went away. So that was no big deal, but I just thought I would mention it because, you know, when you're in the moment and these things are happening to you, you're thinking, is this normal? Is this because of the iron? Is this just me, or does this happen to other people? So that's the reason I'm doing this, so that it will take some of your fears away and make the process hopefully a little more relaxing and I won't say enjoyable, but definitely more relaxing. So I'll check in with you guys on day 3. Good morning. It's day 3 of iron infusions. I can't believe that it's halfway over. It feels like I just got started. Just to bring you up to speed, over the weekend, I did have some more stomach upset. I think that's going to be a pretty typical side effect. I am noticing that I'm feeling a little more sluggish, so whatever pep that steroid gave me on Thursday and Friday, it's kind of wearing off. And I noticed that my face was kind of flushed on Friday, and the nurse said that's that steroid glow. So I had that steroid glow on Friday, maybe a little bit on Saturday, but I feel like I'm looking a little more like myself, or at least my low iron self, this morning. So headed in, as I said, for day 3, and I will check in with you later. I have to confide that there's something scary about knowing that you're going to be stuck with a needle. I know it's so goofy. My dad's diabetic, and I grew up around needles, and seeing him stuck multiple times a day and seeing what he had to go through, and I can't even imagine that. So I'm a complete pansy for being nervous about being stuck with one needle today, but it does make me feel squeamish. So I'll be glad when that part's over. Day 3 is over and done. I can't believe I only have 1 day left. It went very quickly today, 3.5 hours, and I was out. No issues to report today, no problems. Starting to feel like an old pro with this, and that's probably not a good thing. So until tomorrow, I'll see you guys. Well, I can't believe it. Day 4 is over. I am finished with the iron infusions for now, and I just have to wait and feel better. In the past, it's taken, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks before I can actually tell a difference. So I'm excited and looking forward to that. Although, as I've mentioned, the steroids that they have given me to help prevent a reaction and to help with nausea during the infusions have actually given me a pep in my step. So it's been a good feeling to have the energy to do things and to not feel like I have to sit down or lie down every 2 hours. That's been pretty awesome. So in about 6 weeks, I will go back to see the doctor and have some lab work done to see if my hemoglobin is up and my ferritin, most importantly. I did find out today that the blood draw that they did on the first day of the iron infusions to check my ferritin level, my ferritin was 2, and it should be somewhere between 11 and 18. So my iron stores were super low, for sure, and this was definitely the right treatment for me at this time. It's been fun documenting my story. I know it's not very professional, and I know I've rambled. It's not as if I have a script, but hopefully it's been helpful to you. And we would love to share your story on getyouриronup.com, our brand new website. We're geared toward patients. There's just a huge number of people out there with iron deficiency anemia, and I was one of you this time last year. Sorry, a little editing. Like I said, this is not professional stuff here, folks. But I was saying that I was one of you last year when I was in the infusion lab for my iron infusion, and I had no clue what to do to maintain my iron health once my levels were back up. And when I met Cheryl Garrison, the executive director of the Iron Disorders Institute, and she became a friend, and we've chatted and gotten to know each other over this past year, and we realized together what a tremendous need there is for something like Get Your Iron Up, where we can assist people and support people and perhaps even coach people in their iron health. So we have big plans. We'd love for you to be a part of it. We would love to share your personal story on our website. We have a contact form on one of our pages where you can send us your story and permission to print it on the website. We'd love to have your photo. I think that the personal stories really help bring this disorder to life, and that's what we're trying to do, bring it to life, raise awareness, and really save lives. So I hope that you'll be contacting us, and I hope you'll be visiting getyourironup.com often. Thanks so much. Take care. Stay healthy.